The reason that most people aren't financially free is because of this income chain. And when one of these five links break, the whole thing falls apart. So that ends your chance of becoming financially free. Sadly, by the end of this video, many of you are going to realize that though you're making great income, but there's not much to show for it in your retirement account because you've been focusing on the wrong part of the chain. And luckily for you, by the end of this video, you're going to learn the system to use to fix this. But before we get into that, we need to talk about the lies you've been told countless times before about creating that lasting wealth and how it is simply not true. To do that, we need to talk about William Hung. William who? Don't even front. We know that you're a fan. Guys, remember William Hung grabbed headlines when he auditioned for American Idol and gained sudden fame for his off-key rendition of Ricky Martin's Shebang, right? 15 minutes of fame never translate to meaningful or long-term success in the music business. This is where William and rich people intersect. When we look on social media, we are bombarded with photos and videos of people simply overflowing with money. They're driving Bentleys, wearing their Patek Philippe watches, and taking exotic vacation on private jets. Many of them exude the lifestyle like this are typically like what we think of musicians, actors, high-income earners, think of doctors, dentists, and lawyers, etc. And how can we forget athlete, right? This makes me think of popular TikTok influencer who walks around rodeo drives and asks people in expensive car, what do they do for a living?
Excuse me. Hey, what do you do for a living?
A more interesting question to ask might be, how long could you keep your fancy car if you stopped working? That's the right question. Yes, these people are considered rich by any standard, but here's the catch. They're not wealthy. Rich people have a lot of money, but if they stop working, they probably can't survive more than a month or two in their current level of spending. This is what we're called living on the sword's edge. And we have statistics to back this up. According to CNBC, high-income earners are increasingly under pressure with over 49% living paycheck to paycheck, which is a jump from the year prior, which was at 42%. What about you? How long would you be able to survive in your current lifestyle if you lost your job or business income dropped? We get it. We all at times may feel the social pressures to display signs of affluence, like buying a new car or a house, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the key is how you pay for these items. If your income is directly tied to you showing up and doing work, then you're vulnerable. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, man, I didn't realize being rich was such a bad thing. But what's the alternative? Glad you asked. The alternative is to focus on this link in the chain instead. To illustrate this, we're gonna jump into a famous fable. Once on a time, Farmer Jack had a goose that laid golden eggs. At first, he was super thrilled becoming the richest man in the village, but greed got the better of him, thinking he had a jackpot of the golden eggs inside the goose. He cut it open only to discover it was like any other goose inside. No more golden eggs. The moral of the story, true wealth isn't quick rich. It's about sustainable growth and patience. Take care of your golden goose, be it a job, an investment, or assets, and it will take care of you. And you can see that the difference between being rich and being wealthy isn't like the difference between saying tomato or tomato, or garbage, or the British rubbish. Wealth is defined by the ability to sustain your current lifestyle for the remainder of your life without adding additional income because you have enough real assets to cover all your expenses. Being wealthy isn't just about fronting a healthy bank account. It's more like conducting an orchestra where each asset plays its own essential part. Imagine having real estate asset, investment, or maybe even a self-sustaining business all sending you checks while you are asleep. It's financial independence on steroids, effectively shielding you from the financial roller coasters that will make others queasies. But that's not all. The monetary simply plays so that you don't have to. Your time becomes yours again to do with as you please. Let it be leisure, passion projects, or take long vacation. You're not just building a fortress of money, you're creating a legacy that can echo through generations. And let's not forget the icing on the cake, the unparalleled serenity that comes with knowing that you're covered no matter what life throws at you. Less stress, more freedom. That's the wealthy way. Now that we are nearing the end of this episode, as promised, we'll break down the easy-to-follow system you can follow to be on the path to wealth. Step 1, it's all about becoming the asset conductor, orchestrating a mix of assets that consistently generate income. That doesn't have to be complicated. You could start setting aside a portion of your monthly earnings specifically for investments. If the stock market seems too daunting and volatile, remember there's also real estate, specifically multifamily apartment investing, which is our jam. With the right property, not only could you secure steady rental income, but you also have physical asset that typically appreciates with time. The next step is crafting your financial safety net while your assets are generating income. Begin building an emergency fund. Aim for enough to cover at least 6 months of your living expenses. This isn't just about surviving the tough time, it's about allowing you to sleep at night knowing that even if the market dips or you hit a rough patch, your basic needs are covered. Now, let's talk about the freedom factor as your asset grow and become more automated. Perhaps through investment in real estate like multifamily apartments, you start to detach your time from your income. You essentially bought back your own time, granting you the freedom to live life on your own terms. Lastly, consider the legacy ledger. Take steps to ensure that your wealth doesn't just serve you, but also serves those who come after you. This could mean that you're setting up a trust, educational funds, or simply passing down financial literacy to sustain and grow your family fortune. The system isn't just about accumulating asset, aka building your wealth. It's about smartly leveraging it to create a fuller and more secure life. With less financial stress, you have more mental space to enjoy your time and freedom and plan for a legacy that lasts. These are all the links in the chain that when you focus on them will lead you to a path of long-term wealth. Now that you learned how to avoid becoming penniless by focusing on the right links in the chain, check out this video to learn how billionaires manage to pay absolutely nothing in taxes and keep more money in their pockets.